Crumbley wants you to believe that if only the school had done something different, we wouldn't be here. If only the school. Well, let's talk about what she knew that no school employee knew. She knew about the text messages in March that he was about a demon, throwing bowls, clothes flying off the shelf. She knew about the March 18th incident of waking up in his parents' bedroom and like he had way too much to drink and asking why he was in their room. She knew he had previously asked for help and to go to the doctor, and she laughed at him. She knew there were multiple guns in the home. She knew her son had been gifted a gun just a few days before the shooting. She had posted it on Instagram. But apparently, it's absolutely fine for all your Instagram friends to know that you got him a Christmas present with a 9mm handgun, but it's not okay or relevant to the people sitting in that room with that drum. She knew that that gun looked identical to the one in the drawing. She knew that the gun was accessible to him. She knew it wasn't stored properly. She knew that he was proficient with the gun. She knew he had access to ammunition. And she knew that her son was upset the night before. Now, that says he was locked out. She told Amanda Holland he got locked out. She doesn't acknowledge that. She does acknowledge that he did leave the house that night because he was upset. And we all know what he did. We all know what he did. He went to that shed and recorded that video.
I object. That video did not come into evidence.
Okay, it isn't evidence.
Okay.
You're right.
That's true. Let's go back to the elements. Ordinary care. What ordinary care, the smallest, tragically smallest thing she could have done to prevent this. She could have stopped at home on the way back from the meeting. She goes right by her home to see where the gun was. She could have stopped on the way back to work. She could have searched the backpack. She could have asked her son where the gun was. She could have locked the ammunition. She could have locked the gun. She could have taken him home. She could have taken him to work. He could have gone with Dad. He was door dashing. She could have told the school that they just gifted him a gun. She could have embraced her son. She could have said, can we talk to him for a minute alone? She could have looked at him and said, I care about you, I love you. She could have at least acknowledged he was in the room. She could have told the school about her son being in crisis previously and asking for help. Ordinary care would have included all of those things. And the tragic part about it is none of it was hard. None of it. The smallest thing, just the smallest thing, could have saved Hannah and Tate and Justin and Madison. The smallest of things. I have to prove that there's reasonable foreseeability. And that worksheet right there that Jennifer Crumbley saw just hours before the shooting is reasonable foreseeability. And we're going to show you in the next slide. That's the picture of the gun. It's not just any gun, ladies and gentlemen. It's the gun that they just gave him. Blood everywhere. That's what he wrote with ammunition. I didn't show you the picture with the blood because I don't think you need to see it again. But we know what happened in that school and in that hallway. Here's a picture with 2 bullet holes and blood coming out of the figure's head. And look at that. That is where those shots went. Those are from the shooter's gun. The thoughts won't stop. Help me. These are all of the things that were texted to Jennifer Crumbley. This was in March. but he's writing it on a piece of paper and he's showing it to her. That is foreseeability. He's telling in that drawing, this is the gun that was purchased for me. Help me. Blood everywhere. The world is dead. I know you won't ever forget the video, but if you look at the defendant's son and see that there was no emotion, none. He was only concerned in a very calm manner for finding as many people as he could to kill, and he did. My life is useless. These statements from the defendant's son are just heartbreaking. I actually asked my dad to take me to the doctor yesterday, but he said, just give me some pills and told me to suck it up. Like, it's at the point that I'm asking to go to the doctor. My mom laughed when I told her, but I am having bad insomnia right now. I need help. I was thinking I could call 911 so I could go to the hospital, but then my parents would be really pissed. Like, I am mentally and physically dying. Let's talk about the cable lock. Jennifer Crumbley says that the weapon was used, but it was locked in a cable lock that came with the case. This cable lock that came is the cable lock that came in that case with the SIG. It's never been opened and it's never been used. This is the last picture that we have of that gun until we see it murder 4 kids on November 30th. And the person holding it is Jennifer Crumbley. She's the last person that we see with that gun. She's the person that said it was in her car, then she said it was in her house, it was her husband's responsibility, it wasn't hers. That's what she told you. She knew he was distraught the night before. He texted her, I love you. She told you that's never happened before. She did think it was abnormal or odd. She knew he was looking up bullets in the school. She knew he was watching violent videos. She knew he was proficient with guns. She knew he was previously in crisis. She knew his only friend that he talked to was just gone. She knew all those things. And then her own statements, ladies and gentlemen, when she took the stand. She testified that when she's looking back, she still wouldn't do one thing different. Not one. Not any of those tragically small things. Even now, she told you she wouldn't do anything different. And then she also told you that we took his gun away. You heard her say it. And then she said she doesn't think of herself a victim, but she has lost everything. You're going to hear the instructions from the judge, and you're going to take the facts and the witnesses and the evidence and use what you promised to use, which is impartial, honest assessment, and find what you believe the facts are in this case. The flight, evidence of the flight and what they did after is not an element I have to prove. But what does it show? It shows the minute this shooting became public and ended up in the paper and the media, Jennifer Crumbley started telling a story, and then she ran. And she didn't run just because she was selfish, ladies and gentlemen. She ran And she started deleting text messages, and she started telling a different story because she knew she had done something wrong. That's the only reason you start deleting text messages. It's the only reason that you start saying something that isn't true. It just isn't true. Jennifer Crumbley drove to Detroit with a bunch of cash and 6 cell phones powered off. You can consider that as consciousness of guilt. Everything she did from the time she found out that there was an active shooter and had the 10-minute call with her husband. They both say they went right, he called 911 right away. He did not. He talked to his wife for 10 minutes, over 10 minutes on the phone before he called 911. But the facts changed because it was an immediate attempt to misrepresent what actually happened. Why is a mother whose son just killed 4 people thinking about deleting her text messages? Why is she saying things that are not true about her son? Why does she care about her job? Why does she care about her horse lesson? Why does she care about any of these things? Because she knew she did something wrong. And she's deleting all of those things because she wants you to believe that she's somebody she's not. And you know what she's not? She is not somebody that used ordinary care to prevent what was foreseeable, reasonably foreseeable, that could have happened. Injury or death. And it did. It did. Those words on that paper helped me. She walked out of that school within 11 minutes, didn't so much even address her son. She did not give him the help that he wanted. And you can argue about the months before and the weeks before, but if you just even look at what happened that day, she walked out of that school and she knew something bad might happen. What does she do when she gets back to work? She all of a sudden texts her son, "Are you okay? You know you can talk to us." These are the actions of somebody who was worried. She was worried and she was concerned and she was panicked until after. And then it's a different story. Why? Because she knew she had done something wrong. She walked out of that school when just the smallest of things could have saved, could have helped Hannah and Tate and Madison and Justin. Just the smallest of things. And not only did she not do it, she doesn't even regret it. We have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that she is guilty of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. It's a rare case. It takes some really egregious facts. It takes the unthinkable. And she has done the unthinkable. And because of that, 4 kids have died. So I'm asking you to go back when you hear the law, review the evidence, and find her guilty, because we have proven her guilty. Thank you.